Ba-da-ba-ba-ba-ba-ba.
打ちつかれたこの鼓動は無力で儚いもの痛みは空よりもうららかに
Okay, all right. All right. It's time. When am I gonna cover this song? Shut the fuck up. Do the tips first? Oh. That's how you know we're in serious fucking business now. We got spoopy music going on. Oishi's post memo. Research notes. Okay, hold up. The Hojo family. Every year, Oyashiro-sama's curse claims 2 victims. I missed the session before the last one. Did Satoko die? No, I fucked your mom. This meant that with 4 years in a row, there have been 8 now. But it's worthwhile to note, half of them have been members of this family. The curse on the second year, a certain falling accident involved the death of Hojo, a dam proponent, then the disappearance of his wife. She was pronounced dead the following year after being considered to have vanished under perilous circumstances. The curse on the 4th year involved the death of the Hojo siblings' aunt, who was then their foster mother, and the disappearance of the elder brother. The Hojo family is a poor one, and it's hard to say Mr. Hojo's job went very well. Apparently, upon reemployment via family connections, there was a plan for them to return to the home of the mother's side of the family. For Mr. Hojo, the eviction due to Hinamizawa Dam project and the payment of a large amount of compensation money was essentially a windfall. Mr. Hojo actively embraced the Ministry of Construction's negotiations from an early stage and was selected as representative of the dam proponents. It was rumored he had been bought out by the Ministry of Construction for doing so, but the truth is unknown. However, the dam's proponents were in the vastly outnumbered minority. In addition, as the Sonozaki family strengthened its own foundation and promised support against the dam, all of the proponents, save for Mr. Hojo, switched over to the anti-dam side. At this point, Hinamizawa was completely united against the dam, and Mr. Hojo was held up to ridicule as a stooge of the dam project's proponents. He was essentially used as a scapegoat for the anti-dam coalition. In the end, the dam project collapsed with Oyashiro-sama's curse and the dismemberment incident. However, punishment towards the bitter enemies supporting the dam project continues to this day. There are not many left today who supported the dam project, nor who had a negative reputation at the time. If there were any candidates left for the curse, it's the husband of the housewife who was beaten to death last year, Teppei Hojo. And Mr. Hojo's daughter, Satoko Hojo. Strangely, these two are the only candidates left. Will this year's curse come down on 2 of them? I didn't even know there was a tepe left. There's more than enough value in observing them both. Okay. To Oishi-san, there was a call for you from Section 4's Chief Shigeharu. Apparently, the slaughtered corpse in the Ojikawa River is related to the S group, as we thought. We're still verifying what happened behind the scenes, but apparently the deceased filled up dozens of self-created fictional bank accounts to their limits with money from the S group, reaching around 100 million yen. It appears there were 3 or 4 men with former S group connections involved in this. They've already disappeared along with millions of yen. The deceased was tortured on that point for information, and she was clearly slaughtered as an example to the others. There are apparently some real wizards chasing down the people who disappeared. They're also spreading letters to related Yakuza groups not to harbor them. There's still no evidence that Teppei Hojo is one of those people. As far as Chief Shigeharu can tell, he hasn't been told anything. He was her pimp, but he didn't trust him at all, did she? Teppei Hojo has left the apartment in Okinomiya and has returned to his former residence in Hinamizawa. Oh, shit. Okay. Alright.
守りたいと思う心に
Oh,
嘘は
shit.
なかった。
Well, it's
大
all
切に
downhill
したい
from
と
here,
思う
boys.
心は誰よりも強いはずだった。優しさから生まれた感情はやがて殺意へと変わり、真っ白だった思いは赤と黒で染まってゆく。それが守りたかった日常の崩壊を意味していると分かっていながら。
The Watanagashi. Oh
たたり
no!
殺し、
What the fuck? Tatarigoroshi?
何が
What the fuck is a
間違っていたのか。
Tatarigoroshi?
その答えを探して悲劇はさらに広がってゆく。
北条さんは今日もお休みですか？
Tatari is curse. Okay. Okay. Curse killing. Oh.
古田さんは何か知っていますか？
Teacher's voice was uncritical, but Rika-chan hung her head. New OST? Unable to answer, I felt really bad for her. Goroshi means to kill. Kocha Yuyo Goroshi? The teacher called Rika-chan up and they had an exchange in hushed tones at the times. At first, Rika-chan said that Satoko's fever had grown worse, but everyone in class knew it was a lie. Because every day, Rika-chan brought Satoko's bento with her. Why is she still bringing the fucking bento?
さとこちゃん、どうしちゃったんだろうね。
Oh my god, the song's kind of going fucking crazy.
俺が知るかよ。
I'm the one who wants to know most of all. It was already the 3rd day since Satoko's absence. But like, don't all the disappearances and murders happen around Watanagashi? Like, it's not the festival yet, so... Ever since then, I haven't felt good. Until just last Sunday. Everything had been so much fun. The tip said the uncle is back. Yeah, but... Oh, you think the uncle took her? But then why would the uncle not... But Rika was staying with Satoko was staying with Rika, so why the fuck would that matter? Unless the uncle purposely went and fucking took him. I reached out to Satoko like a real older brother, and we spent that time quietly but warm and comfortable. So why had it suddenly been flipped? The more I thought about it, the more I thought that the world had taken a turn for the worse ever since Oishi arrived. Thinking on it now, maybe the strange apprehension plaguing me the night before Oishi arrived had been a sign. Kuraudo Oishi, Oyashiro-sama's servant.
そんなことあるもんか。 あいつが現れたから聡子が今年のたたりに会う役だなんて決められてたまるかよ。
Keiichi, you're saying this out loud. Just what sort of slip up had I committed to cause those fun times to end so suddenly? Yes, it was the day before Oishi appeared. Shion, Mion, and Rena had spoken of the curse surrounding Satoshi and his disappearance, and it was so sinister it gave me a bad premonition. Such a small thing was the slip up that invited Oyashiro-sama's servant. It was absurd. I kept on groaning to myself that I would never accept it, ever. I obviously wasn't the only one suppressing my feelings. Mion and Rena were too. Everyone in the class was doing it. Rika-chan knew something about Satoko's situation, but she wouldn't tell us. Rika-chan still held a calm attitude like a cat basking in the sun, but she was being unbelievably stubborn about this whole thing. She didn't want to tell us, and that wouldn't change no matter how many times we asked her. Everyone understood that, so nobody questioned her.
リカちゃんが言わないならさ、言うまで待つしかないよね。逆に言わないってことは言う必要もない程度のことかもしれないし。
There was no persuasive power and reassurance given with an anxious face like that. Mion was being taciturn and just looked up at the sky with a somehow annoyed expression. I couldn't tell if she was unhappy that Rika-chan wouldn't talk about it with her own friends, or if she was concerned over Satoko's well-being. And what about me? My anxiety was suffocating me day after day. If someone else were looking at me, then maybe I'd look annoyed, like Mion did. Tap tap. Someone tapped my shoulder. It was Tomita-kun and Okamura-kun.
前原さん、ちょっといいですか？
Oh shit, maybe they have an inside scoop.
またボールが引っかかったか？今度はお前たちで何とかしてみろよ。いつまでも先輩に頼るのは良くないぜ。
I didn't feel like going along with them, so I was a little unsympathetic with my response.
ちょっと気になる噂を聞いたんすよ。
Oh shit, the music stopped.
噂？
はい。ひょっとすると関係があるかもと思って。
A rumor. About Satoko, they hadn't said that, but it didn't seem unrelated. Oh shit, we're at the spot, the secret spot. They didn't want to talk in the classroom, so they pulled me behind the school building, lending further credence to that thought. The back of the school was damp and humid like always. Students didn't really come here because they wanted to. It might, however, have been an ideal location for trading rumors away from prying eyes.
富田君、岡村君、その噂話ってもちろん聡子の欠席と関係のある話なんだろうな。
関係があるかはわからないですけど。
聡子は一体どうしたってんだ？風邪なのか？それともひょっとしてもっと重い病気か怪我か何かで。
I think they're gonna tell him about the uncle?
いえ、それがむしろ逆で、うちのばあちゃんの話だと、昨日の昼にうちの店に豆腐を買いに来たらしいんです。
She's avoiding everybody. Oh, Tomita's family runs a tofu shop, added Okamura-kun.
豆腐屋さんに買い物？
My voice sounds so stupefied, even I can tell. It was understandable. I was worried about what grave illness or injury she had when the person herself had been out and about shopping for tofu. Wait, I think I know what it is. I think we're coming up to Watanagashi, and Satoko feels like she might be cursed. And so around this time, she's refusing to come to school and be around people because she feels like her curse might affect them. So maybe she's staying at home and doing her own thing until Watanagashi passes over, and then she'll be back. Because, right, all of her family members, her brother, everybody just kept dying around her, so...
で、聡子はどうだったんだよ？元気そうだったのか？それとも病み上がりでマスクでもしてたとか、松葉杖で包帯だらけだったとか。
いえ、別に病気とか怪我とかそういうわけじゃなかったらしいんですが。
I should have felt relieved that it wasn't an illness or an injury, but my anxiety wasn't going away because Tomita-kun and Okamura-kun's expressions weren't looking any better.
絹ごし豆腐を1丁買っていったそうなんですが、ばあちゃんが言うにはおかしいと。
おかしい？なぜ？絹ごし豆腐を買って何が悪い？
Irritated by how roundabout they were being, I had to desperately fight that irritation from creeping into my voice. Facial, thank you for the 1 year.
北条とフルデってほら2人暮らしでそんなにお金持ちってわけじゃないですよね。だから2人はいつも安い木綿豆腐しか買わないんです。
Oh shit. It's like, I think they have proof that it's fucking... It's the uncle's back. Because how else would she have the money?
一番高い絹ごし豆腐なんか買ったことないんです。
木綿だって絹ごしだってどっちも豆腐だろ。たまにはうまい豆腐が食いたくなっただけかもしれないじゃないか。
それはそうですけど。
And you know how transparent I sounded right then? This wasn't anything trivial, it was some kind of important clue. Not the cheap firm tofu, but the expensive soft kind. Shopping not in the evening after school, but in the middle of the day. Couldn't figure out what those things meant. As I thought hard about it, Okamura-kun took his turn to speak.
次は僕っすね。これも噂なんですけど、帰ってきたらしいんですよ。
帰ってきた？何が？誰が？
北条のおじさんが。
Bum bum bum. Satoko's uncle. Right, I think Coach told me about him. Their aunt and uncle had taken them in after Satoko and Satoshi lost their parents. Oh wait! I completely forgot the uncle was fucking abusive, right? Cause they blamed Satoko's fucking parents for literally roping them all in and their entire family getting fucking treated badly. Yeah. And then Mio last chapter said that like there were like both evil people that like absolutely abused Satoko and Satoshi. So
去年のお社様のたたりで怖くなって町に逃げたっていう北条のおじさんです。こいつヤクザみたいな怖くて乱暴なやつで。
everything Coach told me came back in bits and pieces. Right. The mean aunt and uncle who had tormented them all the time. I think he said that after their aunt was beaten to death by a deviant, he ran away to his lover's house in Okinomiya in fear of the curse.
そいつが帰ってくるとどうして聡子が学校を休んで真っ昼間に絹ごし豆腐を買う羽目になるんだ？
Just because the fucking uncle's not probably fucking threatening her. My underclassmen climbed up and looked downwards. There must have been some big hint buried in there. Even if I didn't understand, if I told Mio and Rena about it, maybe they'd know something.
ごめんな二人とも。せっかく好意で話を聞かせてくれたのになんだか問い詰めるような言い方になっちゃって。
あ、いえ、いいんすよ。北条が重病で寝たきりになってないことが分かっただけでもほら儲けもんじゃないですか。
That might be true, but it still won't. It won't make the clouds over my mind fade away. Well, yeah, because Satoko's probably getting abused by that fucking freak uncle of hers.
前原さん、ほらあれ。
Okamura-kun cried wildly, pointing over my shoulder behind me. Startled, I turned around and way on the other side, near the school gate, I saw a figure trudging forth. Monka W.
北条だ。
Oh, shit. I burst into a run faster than I could speak, so that as quickly as possible I could see with my own eyes that she was okay.
スタート
Satoko seemed taken aback by me shouting and running over to her.
まあ何ですの圭一さん。
Oh, she's fine.
突然大声を出して走ってくるから何事かと驚きましたわ。
バカ、俺のことなんかどうでもいいだろう。それよりどうしたってんだよサトコ。3日俺心配で心配で。
Aww.
心配性ですわね。たかだか3日ですわよ。もう圭一さんは心配性なんですから。
From listening to her, she seemed like the normal Satoko, but I could tell she was clearly acting strangely. Her smile was somehow forlorn, and her complexion was bad for some reason.
北条、大丈夫だったのかよ。風邪とかじゃないのか。
Tomita-kun and Okamura-kun both expressed their
一体
concerns.
どうしたってんだよ。3日も俺がどれだけ心配してたか。
ごめんあそばせですわ。ちょっとお家のお掃除をしたりしてたんですのよ。
Yeah, I bet your uncle fucking was beating your ass and forcing you to clean the house.
だいぶ長いこと使ってませんでしたから、もう家中ほこりだらけでして。
Alright, Rena, Rena, get the fucking hatchet. We gotta kill the uncle.
はあ？サトコ、お前何を言ってんだ？なんで家の掃除なんかで学校を休まなきゃなんないんだ？
Satoko didn't answer me. Instead, she passed by me and headed for the entrance.
もう今はお弁当の時間ではありませんの。私はお腹が空いてますのよ。
It was certainly lunch break. I couldn't force her to stop after she told me she wanted lunch since she was so hungry.
まあいいや。リカちゃんは3日間毎日お前の弁当を持ってきてくれてるんだぜ。今日はちゃんと食べてやれそうだな。とにかく早く教室へ行こう。みんなを安心させてやろうぜ。
そうですわね。皆さんにご心配をおかけしてしまったかもしれませんわね。あははは。人気者は辛いでございますわ。
Put a hand on Satoko's shoulder and we ran to the classroom together. Up close, I was able to verify that Satoko looked somehow weak. All this anxiety was supposed to go away when I saw her again. That's what I had thought. But now I actually started to have quite different fears. What the heck happened to Satoko? Everyone in the class, of course, reacted in the same exact way I had. We worried about you. I'm glad to see you well. What were you doing for 3 days? Her classmates showered her in questions.
本当にご迷惑をおかけしましたわね。あはははは。
As she cackled, she chowed down on the bento Rika-chan had made for her. Those in the teacher's lounge must have been informed of Satoko's arrival because our teacher sprinted into the classroom, her breathing ragged.
北条さん。
あら先生、3日間もご心配をおかけしましたわね。あはははは。ご覧の通り元気でピンピンしてますわ。
もう本当に心配してたんですからね。お弁当が食べ終わったら職員室に来るんですよ。いろいろとお話があります。
3日もサボったからきっと大目玉に違いありませんわね。
Bro, she's force laughing every fucking sentence. Satoko laughed sheepishly while she scratched her head and the rest of the class burst out into laughter. The teacher was acting angry, but she breathed a sigh of relief at seeing Satoko healthy and smiling as she ate her lunch with the class surrounding her.
でも安心したよな、レナ。
あ、ごめん。無事でよかったよね。
Huh? Why is she like not focused? I looked at Rena and knew. She had a sense that something about Satoko was off too. Oh shit, Mion's planning how to fucking kill the uncle. I looked to see Mion detached from the clamor as well with a somewhat grim expression. But Rika-chan on the other hand was smiling from ear to ear. She spread out the bento boxes one by one as Satoko finished them. Finally, Satoko was satisfied and after enjoying a thorough conversation with her classmates, remembered that she'd been called to the teacher's lounge.
めんどくさいんですけど、行かないともっと怒られてしまいそうですからね。僕も一緒に行きますですよ。
Satoko rises from her seat and Rika-chan runs over to her.
ごめん遊ばせ圭一さん。ちょっと怒られてまいりますわ。
おう。なんだったら俺も一緒に付き合うぜ。 例のカレーの悪口の時、一緒に職員室で怒られた仲じゃねえか。
それには及ばないのです。圭一はここでお留守番なのですよ。
Rika-chan's words were gentle, but the firm rejection was clear in her eyes. The two of them exited into the hallway, walking shoulder to shoulder. After seeing them off, the class breathed a collective sigh of relief, broke apart, and went back to their usual lunch break banter. We, however, couldn't go back to how we usually were. Yes! I love how possibly we will have a scenario of these two motherfuckers killing me the first chapter, and then Rena saving us. Well, saving us from Mion, and then Mion killing me in the second chapter, and now we work together to kill the uncle. Yes. Not I, not Mion, and of course not Rena. They stared at the classroom exit Satoko and Rika-chan had left through, their expressions a little distant and grim.
俺たちは仲間だ。そうだろう、みんな。
I blurted out something strange, so Mion and Rena turned around with dubious
俺は
expressions.
仲間に隠し事はしない。
Okay, character growth. Okay, Keiichi.
だから、さっき聞いたばかりのことを言う。
I told them the stories I heard from Tomita-kun and Okamura-kun earlier about the tofu shop and how Satoko's uncle had apparently come back, all at once without letting them
これ
speak.
が俺の知るすべてだ。だからミオンもレナもしていることがあるなら話してくれ。俺は俺の知るすべてを話したぞ。
I ended my sentence firmly and looked into Mion and Rena's eyes in turn. Rena stared right back at me. Her eyes didn't falter. Without even opening her mouth, I could tell she wasn't hiding anything. Then our gazes turned to Mion.
別に私は隠して黙ってるわけじゃないよ。
Mion couldn't seem to endure our silent stares and began to talk timidly as if she was guilty of something.
でもケイちゃんが話したなら私も話さないわけにはいかないよね。
You know, Keiichi, all you had to do was trust your friends. That was the lesson we learned from chapter 1. Rena said don't lie.
みーちゃん、何か知ってるの？
いや、聡子のおじが帰ってきたっての帰ってきた初日から知ってたよ。この間の日曜日にふらっとひなみ沢に帰ってきたって。
どうしてそれを黙ってた？
Oh, whoa, 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 Keiichi, relax, okay? Jesus Christ, she didn't want to worry you.
ごめん。
Keiichi, you dick! My angry shout caused Mion to flinch away, look down, and hang her head uncomfortably.
圭一くん、怒るようなことじゃないよ。
This Keiichi motherfucker.
みーちゃん怖がってる。
あ、ごめん。つい大声を。
I lowered my head in apology. Mion accepted it, collected herself, and continued. According to her, her uncle's relationship with his lover, whom he had been with in Okinomiya, had collapsed. Without anywhere to go, he went back home to Hinamizawa, and on that Sunday, the day of the barbecue, her uncle ran into Satoko and brought her back to the house. What? The day of the barbecue?
なんで連れ戻すんだよ。
ろくでなしの寄生虫だからね。
Oh, damn.
自分一人じゃ炊事はおろか掃除一つできないし。
Jesus Christ.
そんな炊事やお掃除のために聡子ちゃんを連れ戻したっていうの？
Kill him. It's not me, motherfucker. I know how to clean. I know how to cook some stuff. I remember that she said she'd been cleaning the house when I met her back at the school gate. A moment later, the pieces fell into place into the jigsaw puzzle of unease. Bro, who could do this to Satoko, you fucking demon? And as for what the puzzle depicted when I saw it from afar, well, okay, I mean, technically last chapter Mion killed Satoko, but, you know, we forgive her. I could see the answer clearly. It was a demon. It was a demon, you know? It wasn't
聡子が
Mion.
家に閉じ込められていじめられながら家事をやらされてるっていう噂なんだよ。
If you knew that, why didn't you speak up? Well, Keiichi, come on, relax. I nearly yelled that at Mion, but hastily stopped myself.
みーちゃん、それ本当なの？
私がこの目で確かめたわけじゃないから本当かどうかは知らないけど。
Mion looked down again and staring at the floor grew quiet.
去年みたいに？
Just like last year.
意地悪なおじさん夫婦のところで暮らしてた時みたいに。
でもさ、そのおじさんって家事はからっきしなんだろ。聡子が重宝なわけだから、何もいじめてるってわけじゃないかもしれないだろ。
圭一くん、何を根拠に言ってるのか知らないけど、いい加減なことは言わない方がいいよ。
Whoa, 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 okay, what did Keiji say wrong? Rena clearly and directly got mad at me? You don't know much about this, so don't talk as though you do. Yes, that's clearly what she meant. Oh, okay.
じゃあレナは知ってるのかよ。
私だって知らないよ。今ここで聞くまで、聡子ちゃんがおじさんの家に連れ戻されたなんて知らなかったもの。でもね、1年前とはまるで状況が違うの。
Oh, Satoshi's not here.
状況が違うってどういうことだよ。
サトシくんがいない。
Boom! I knew it.
サトシはすごく妹思いのいい兄だったんだよ。
Now it's our job, Keiichi, to fucking defend her. Kill the
い
uncle.
つもサトコをかばってた。意地悪なおじおばのとばっ
I
ち
bet
り
he's an
が
ugly bastard.
少しでもサトコにかぶらないように盾になってくれてた。
家には意地悪なおじさんと聡子ちゃんが2人きりなんだよ。それがどれだけ行き詰まるものか、圭一くんにだって想像がつくんじゃないかな。木南沢に帰ってきた理由だって、身を寄せてた愛人が蒸発したからでしょ。そんな不愉快な理由で帰ってきた人がどうして聡子ちゃんに優しくできるっていうの？
She was right. It wasn't easy for me to imagine Satoko not being tormented.
ごめん。
あ、こっちこそごめん。
What's up, Kaden?
問い詰めるような口調になっちゃったね。
An awkward atmosphere floated among us. The three of us remained silent and just stared at the floor. Finally, we heard the principal's bell ringing. The teacher came back with Satoko and Rika-chan at her
さあ
side.
さあ、午後の授業を始めますよ。委員長、号令起立。
ごめんなさいね。失礼。
Whoa, 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 why did Rika look so serious? But given the clouded look Rika-chan was wearing behind her, wait, what the fuck did the teacher say? It was tough to laugh off the disquieting story I heard from Mion. Oh shit.
よーし、久々に全メンバーが揃ったからね。久しぶりにパーッと大部活で盛り上がろうじゃないの。
Yeah, perfect. No, I bet Satoko has to leave. In times like these, the best thing to do is obviously get rowdy and scheme against one another in a club activity.
望むところだよ。ねえ、さとこちゃん、やろやろ。
サトコが好きだったゲームあるでしょ。ほら、
Oh,
なんだった
no,
っけ。
she definitely has to leave, bro.
なんでも構わないよ。行ってみ。行ってみ。
Mion laughed happily, took a bunch of games out of the club locker and lined them up on the desks. And that was the first time Mion ever let someone else decide on a game for her. Could tell she was being especially considerate to Satoko, thinking that whatever her circumstances, if we could just enjoy our time together as a group, that might be some comfort, some diversion. Satoko seemed to understand her feeling too and smiled vaguely, though pleased, but her head slowly moved from side to side.
ありがたいですけど、お気持ちだけで結構ですわ。いろいろしなければならないことがありますので。
Even Rika-chan hung her head in remorse. No.
おいおいおいおいおい、本気なわけ？部活メンバーが久しぶりに揃ったってのにお流れになっちゃうわけ
Mion, the uncle is interrupting club time. Kill him.
敵前逃亡は罰ゲームってのは快速第何条だったっけ？
The punishment is killing the uncle.
やめなよ、みーちゃん。無理に付き合わせちゃダメだよ。
別におじさんは無理強いしてるわけじゃないよ。ただ大盛り上がりした方が絶対に楽しいと思って。
本当にお気持ちだけで嬉しいんですのよ。ご安心なさいませ。次に戦う時は皆さんまとめてでっかい罠にはめてご覧に入れますわ。
Satoko, while insulting us, still said she couldn't participate in the club today and apologized. She quickly put her things into her bag and pattered out into the hallway, disappearing. It all happened in the blink of an eye.
Satoko.
Rikishan stared lonesomely as her friend hurried home, unable to be part of the club activities. Silence filled the classroom. Both the cheerful voices of our classmates in the schoolyard and the voices of the cicadas sounded like they were coming from some faraway world.
つまんないの。
The silence was broken by Mion's bitterness as she began putting the games on the desk back into the locker. Everyone just stared absently at Satoko's seat, now empty.
リカちゃん、そろそろ話してくれてもいいんじゃないかな。
Serious, Rika. Rena made a gentle smile as she possibly could, and spoke softly to Rika-chan. Even without hearing it from her, we pretty much knew the situation at this point. Satoko's uncle had broken up with his lover and come back home to Hinamizawa. And he had taken Satoko back home and forced her to do all the household work. And that all had to be pretty rough on her. Thinking this was common knowledge to everyone, I skipped to the important part.
だいぶひどいのか?
Maybe Mion and Rena wanted to ask the same question. Nobody spoke, we all just stared, waiting for Rika-chan's reply. Rika-chan still didn't answer us. We were hoping for her to say no, but her silence was bad enough.
去年だっけ? おじ夫婦の元にいた時もこんな状況だったんだろう。
あの時は夫婦喧嘩のとばっちりみたいなのがほとんどだったからさ。こうして部活で時間を潰して家にいる時間を極力減らすのも一つの手だったんだけど。
今は家事を強制されてるから学校に残ることもできないんだね。
Shit. Satoko's not a slave. Who do you think you are, ignoring your own inability to live properly and basically putting Satoko under house arrest?
常識的に考えてこんなのおかしいんじゃねえのか? いろいろと状況証拠は必要だろうけど、こういうのって虐待だろ? 警察とかに通報できないのかよ?
そうだよね。体罰の証拠とかがあれば警察に通報できると思うよ。あるいはそういうのって地域の民生委員さんとかに相談できないの?
Fuck the police. Do it the old-fashioned way, Rena. Get your hatchet. Rena and I kept saying police, police, as though it were nothing, but Mion's response sounded like she thought we were a little naive.
みんな簡単に言ってくれるけどさ、それを立証するリスクを考えたことある？
リスクってなんだよ？
一昨年の冬かな。通報したんだよ。
Oh shit.
児童相談所に。
Child Consultation Center?
虐待があるからすぐに何とかしてくれって。
そうだったんだ。それで？
電話してすぐにお役所の人が来てくれたよ。で、聡子とかサトシとかに事情聴取してた。
Oh shit, they covered for their family.
ついでにおじ夫婦のところにもね。
サトコとサトシに聞くまではいいが、おじ夫婦にまで聞くのはまずいんじゃないのか？
両者の意見を聞いて総合的に判断するんだとさ。ご立派ご立派。
で、結果はどうだったの？
様子見。
様子見ってなんだよそれ。
おじさんとっても勉強になっちゃったんだけどさ。
Useless government agencies?
法律ではね、暴行か育児放棄が認められなきゃ虐待とは言わないんだってさ。聡子もサトシもよく小づかれてたらしいけど、別に傷跡が残るようなレベルじゃなかったし、3食の飯も一応食えてたし、寝床もあったし、
心理的外傷を与える言動だって別にカセットテープで証拠があったわけじゃないし、村の人たちだって実際に乱暴してる現場は見たことないからね。いくら意地悪だからって人前で乱暴はしないでしょ、誰だって。
で、その後どうなったの？
しばらくは毎週決まった日に民生委員さんが訪問してたみたい。おじ夫婦も自分たちが見張られてることを気にして目立ついじめはしなくなったらしいけど、それで済むわけないでしょ普通。
より陰湿ないじめ方に加速していったってことだね。
Leon sighed and nodded.
おばのやつが特にねちっこくってさ、女特有の陰湿さっていうのかな、相当いやらしいことをしてたらしいよ。聡子、最後の方は呼吸するだけのボロ人形みたいだった。
What the fuck? So what? From that conclusion, does that mean they never should have contacted child welfare in the first place?
わかった？誰の目にも明らかな虐待の証拠がなかったらお手上げなんだよ。むしろ状況を悪化させかねない。あれは失敗だった。
After hearing that even public organizations, the one they thought was dependable, couldn't do anything, everyone hung their heads.
つまり誰の目にも明らかな虐待の証拠が見つかるまで通報すべきでないってことなんだね。
うん、まあそういうこと。
Consider Satoko's current situation. She was brought back to her house. It was a little different or difficult to call that abuse. She was being tormented and forced to do chores. How she was being tormented would be the key, but without concrete evidence, it would be difficult to prove. If she had some kind of external injury, that would work, but as far as we could tell from today, she had nothing like that. Being forced to do chores, that was a bit weak too. There had to be better evidence that she was without a doubt being abused. Ah, I know. Her uncle had ignored Satoko's existence for a whole year and went to live with his lover in town. Didn't that fall under one of the definitions of abuse that Mion had mentioned, child neglect?
うん、それは立派な育児放棄だね。どうなのみーちゃん。
おじが今もいなければ育児放棄は認定されそうだけど、今この瞬間は同居してるわけでしょ。
Jesus Christ, bro. Government agencies are worthless!
今までは別居だったけど心を入れ替えて同居することにしたなんて言われたらまた様子見なんてことになりかねないよ。
These fucking worthless motherfuckers. Time to doge them? Bro, Doge is dead. Donald Trump and Elon broke up. Once we reported it, we would need to be absolutely sure they'd interpret it as abuse. Maybe we needed a far more concrete evidence lest we repeat last year's
な
mistake.
んだか悲しい。ということはつまり、さとこちゃんが乱暴されて大きな傷が残るまで黙って見てろってことなんだよね。
Okay, 5-head strat. Satoko comes to school tomorrow. We beat her up a little bit. Us. And then pretend that was the uncle. But so, you know, we it's short-term pain for long-term gain. Alright? The only plan I could think of was, in the end, just watching and waiting. It left me in shock when I realized that it would be the same policy as that of the officials who had made the situation worse. As Mion said, reporting it to a public agency would be a gamble. If we're going to pick a fight, it would have to be one we couldn't afford to lose. If we're gambling without enough money, without enough evidence, our defeat would be assured. If we took the time to amass enough money that we could be sure of victory, then that would mean pretending we didn't see Satoko's plight for a considerable amount of time.
こんなところで話を振ってごめんな。リカちゃんはどうして一人暮らしができるんだ？
Rika-chan had lost her parents, if I recalled correctly. From what I heard, she had no relatives either. She was forced to live on her own as a result, but her life was unfettered, free of restrictions. If she could somehow grant that freedom to Satoko too.
ほら、リカちゃんって両親いないのに生活してるだろ。保護者のいない子供って孤児院みたいなところに入れられちゃうんじゃないっけ？
She's been adopted by the village.
圭一くん、それひどい。
悪口で言ってるんじゃねえよ。そこにサトコを救うヒントがあるかもしれないと思って聞いてみ。リカちゃん、気分を害したならごめんな。
Rika-chan shook her head, not particularly disturbed.
それはですね、僕は。
That is true, chat. Do you only go to an orphanage if you have no family left? Like... Like, I don't really know how that works. Like, what if you do have, like, a distant uncle or something? Are you not allowed to be sent to an orphanage until, like, they're dead? Any orphans in chat? Yo, any... Yeah, we got any orphans in chat? Yeah, if family doesn't claim you, then you go to an orphanage. It depends. A court can decide not to give you to some family members. That's messed up. I'm not laughing at orphans. I'm laughing at the idea of the fact that someone asked if there's any orphans in chat, okay? Alright.
実は村長さんちの子供になっているからなのです。
Oh, what the fuck?
補足がいるね。
Was she adopted?
村長の君吉のおじいちゃんがリカちゃんの保護者なんだよ。ちゃんと県知事の許可を得た正式な。
Can't they do the same thing for Satoko though?
養子みたいなものか？
養子とは違う。
Well, I guess she can't. I can't say can't because the uncle is like, quote unquote, taking care of her.
別に籍を入れなくても保護者にはなれるんだよ。
分かってきた。つまりリカちゃんは普通に暮らしてるけど、法律の上では村長さんの家に住んでることになってるんだね。
Yo, this is like some fucking Minato leaving Naruto to the third Hokage, and the third Hokage tosses Naruto in some bum-ass fucking apartment living by himself eating ramen. Like, the mayor's like, I'm your guardian, but here's the shack, live in the corner of the village. It's like, what the hell, bro? Like, come on, man.
まあそんなとこ。そのおかげでリカちゃんは孤児院送りを免れてるってわけ。孤児院っていうか児童養護院のことだけど。
難しいことはよくわかりませんが。
ミオン、今興味深いことを言ったな。席が違っても保護者になれるみたいなことを言ったよな。じゃあ形だけでも村長さんとかがサトコの保護者になってくれればいいんじゃないのか？
Nah, I don't think it works because her uncle actively wants to be her guardian. And she'd be in the same position as Rika-chan. And she could go back to her old life.
ところがそうはいかないの。
Yeah.
だっておじだって保護者のつもりなんだもん。
Hey, we could fix this by killing him. I'm just saying.
ちょっと待て、わけがわからなくなったぞ。そもそも保護者ってなんだ？
Okay, never mind. Keiichi's just fucking stupid. In legal terms, a guardian and a parent weren't necessarily synonyms. So whoever was actually looking after her at home would be considered her guardian.
なら、おじは保護者じゃないな。ずっとサトコをほったらかしにしてた。
Keiichi, we literally went over this already. We're just going in circles. He's back, so it doesn't fucking...
でも保護者だと主張されたらそれまでだよ。
This motherfucker's stupid as fuck.
サトコが連れ戻されてから数日。
Bro. That feel when Keiichi's your main character of your fucking visual novel.
その間の食事代はおじの財布から出てるよね。一応面倒を見てると主張できなくもない。それに1年間サトコをほったらかしたとはいえ、 最初の1年間は生活の面倒を見た実績がある。
He's literally smarter than you? No, he's not. Bro literally has a superpower that lets him revive and redo fucking storylines over and over, okay? If he didn't have this power, he'd be as dumb as bricks.
でも村長にはその実績はない。
意地悪なおじさんと村長さんが同時に保護者を主張したら、おじさんの方が強いってこと？
その可能
But
性
he
が高い
doesn't
ってこ
remember
と。
now? I don't actually believe that. I actually feel like he subconsciously remembers things, but like not directly. Cause like every time, every loop we've had essentially, like things get insinuated and like implied as if like, haha, like oh, you know, like as if we actually did live through that, but like not really, you know? It's like some weird shit.
それに保護者ってのは
And
実際に
also-
面倒を見てる人を指すんだよ。
As much as we hate Keiichi, right? He has like technically grown chapter to chapter, which would insinuate that there is some like continual like some type of continuity between them. So
実際に寝床や食事を握ってるおじと名義だけ貸そうとしてる村長じゃどうにもならない。
じゃあ村長が実際に生活の面倒を見ればいいじゃないか。そうすれば名実ともに村長が保護者になれるんだろう。
we just need to shelter Satoko. That might lead to her uncle being desperate to take her back, but will stubbornly refuse
そ
him.
んな簡単にはいかないよ。聡子は育ち盛りの女の子なんだよ。
You say that, but he agreed to walk alone with Mion at the end of last chapter. Yeah, he's dumb fucking idiot. Mion literally told his ass to not fucking do that, and then he fucking did it anyways.
人間一人の面倒を見てくださいなんて猫の子預けるのとはわけが違う。
We just love using cats as reference in this, or as examples in this.
じゃあ監督はどうだよ。監督ってよくは知らないけど裕福なんだろ。自分で言ってたくらいなんだし、本当の親でなくても保護者になれるなら監督でも可能なんだ。監督なら聡子の面倒を立派に見てくれる気がする。
だから
Oh shit, Mion's getting mad.
聡子をペットみたいに考えないでって。ケイちゃんはさっきから聡子を誰かに押し付ける話ばっかり。人間一人の生活の面倒を見る責任ってものをもっと慎重に考えて。監督に聞いたの。聡子を引き取って面倒を見るってちゃんと確約を得たわけ？
そんなの得てないよ。でも監督なら絶対に OK するだろ
う。まあいいよ。100歩譲って監督が OK したとするよ。でもダメなんだよ。保護者は独身じゃダメなんだよ。
Ugh, that's right. Coach, didn't he say it himself? He was alone, so he couldn't do it. Shit, what the hell? Why is being single such a disadvantage in this society? What is this, social commentary? Then, all you could do is marry into a wealthy family, couldn't you?
ひなみ沢にそんなお金持ちはいるのかな。
Yeah, she's standing right there between us with green hair.
難しそう。
ね、簡単じゃないんだよ。
Mion, you're fucking...
人間一人引き取るってのは。
Yeah, I bet you don't want to adopt her. I saw your demon for talk last fucking chapter, bitch.
誰かに押し付けようなんて短絡的な考えがそもそもダメなの。考えが浅いんだよ、ケイちゃんは。
う。なんなんだよ、畜生。俺は必死に聡子を救おうと考えてるのにダメだってそればっかり。お前ら本当は聡子のことなんかどうでもいいんだろ。
Alright, Mion, slap Keiichi.
仲間のこと本気で心配してないんだろ。
Ah, slap this bitch ass. Slap Keiichi
どう
right
な
now.
んだよ。
そんなつもりないよ。でもそう簡単にはいかないっていうか。
そんな難しい話じゃねえだろ。裕福な奴が聡子をしばらく面倒見てくれればいい、それだけのことだぞ。そうだ、ミオンチはどうだよ。
Uh-oh. Keiichi's caught on.
お前
御三家とかいう立派な家柄なんだって自慢してたよな。話じゃものすごいでかい家に住んでるそうじゃないか。
うち無理無理、そんなのバチェが許してくれるはずない。
Why? Huh? Cause she's cursed?
じゃあ沖宮に住んでる親はどうだよ。聞いた話じゃこっちもかなりの豪邸に住んでるらしいじゃないか。町には親類の経営する店がたくさんあるそうだし、立派な資産家じゃないかよおい。
He's not wrong.
ダメダメダメ、沖宮の家なんてもっとダメ。うちのお父さんそんなの絶対に許さない。
おいおいおいおい、普段は散々大物ぶりを自慢しといてここ一番で及び腰かよ。
Low-key, Keiichi is kind of cooking Mion. He's kind of right. Like, Mion is, like, weirdly really against this, you know? She does have all the means to save Satoko.
なんなんだよお前、里子を見殺しにする気かよ。
そんなつもりはないけど、そりゃ私だって聡子は助けてやりたいよ。でもそれとこれじゃ話が。
Why is it a different story?
話が違うってのかよ。冷てえやつ、仲間の危機だろ。
They're probably gonna bring up the curse.
ここで救わなかったら何なんだよ。部長だろ、部活の救えよ、仲間の危機をよ。今ここで救わなかったら仲間じゃねえ、人じゃねえ。
Whoa, whoa, whoa. Okay, Keiichi. Like, come on, man. Like, what? How about you, huh? Why don't you do something?
お前の人間性が問われてるんだよ。
Uh-oh. Alright, well, the demon's definitely coming out now. It's Jover.
聞いてるのかよミオン。
My emotions all exploded out of me, and I didn't even give her a chance to say anything in response. I just wanted to make Mion agree with me, even if I had to force her. If she did, Satoko's problem would be solved. If pushing her would solve the issue, then I'd push her as much as I
何
needed
さっ
to.
きから黙り込んでんだよ。聞いてるのかこの野郎。
Asshole!
どうなんだよ。なんとか言ってるよ園崎ミオン。
みー、
Now you've done it. Now you've done it, Keiichi. Oh, no. Uh-oh. Last time she went hick, she started fucking crazy laughing. Okay. Mion, looking down with a grim face, began sobbing. Her hands were clenched into trembling fists and she rubbed her eyes to wipe away the tears. Was what I said actually that mean? This isn't the time to cry. We're in the gambling room now. We have to do something to save Satoko. And as I thought that, Rena spoke, her voice cold and incredibly calm.
ケイチ君、
Yeah, Rena. Fucking teach this motherfucker.
みーちゃん家がダメなら他の裕福な家を探したら。
Yeah, like yours, Keiichi, your giant fucking house.
私、ひなみ沢に立派な豪邸建てて住んでる
Ooh,
人知ってるよ。
get this fraud. Yeah, that's my
誰
goat.
だよ。
Oh, who?
白々しいよ。
Ooh.
あれだけ立派な家に住んでて、自分の家だけは蚊帳の外。
Ooh, caught.
俺んちかよ。
This fucking fraud.
俺の家は。
Oh, what? You're poor?
仲間なんでしょ。救ってよ、ケイチ君が。みーちゃんはダメだってさ、冷たい。じゃあ仲間思いのケイチ君がお手本示さなきゃダメだね。
Holy shit, bro. Rena is cooking him.
あれだけ大きなお家に家族3人で住んでるんだっけ。じゃあ空き部屋なんかいくらでもあるよね。
Holy fuck.
余ってるお部屋いくつかさとこちゃんに分けてあげればいいじゃない。それでめでたくさとこちゃんの悩みは解決。あら何？
Oh my god, bro. No kanas, no hows, nothing. She's just fucking roasting his ass.
これでもう終わり？あっけない話だったね。はいはい解決、お疲れ様。じゃあもう今日はいい？私帰るね。ランランラン。
Oh my god, what the fuck?
今日は久しぶりに宝探しにでも行こうかな。昨日まではずっとさとこちゃんのことが心配で全然遊ぶ気になんかならなかったし、 今日はどんな宝物が見つかるかな。はうなんか言ってよ。
Oh shit.
私だけ喋りずくめ。黙ってんじゃないわよ。聞いてんの前原圭一。
Oh fuck, bro. Keiichi's getting cooked. Even the cicadas seem to cower in fear. Oh fuck. Rena, her shoulders bobbing up and down, and me, who had forgotten to breathe. Mion, whose face had gone completely pale, and Rika-chan, who was keeping silent as if nothing had happened. The atmosphere in the classroom grew tight and stiff, and it petrified us where we stood. Rattle. The sound of chair as Rena sat back down after having stood up finally allowed everyone present to take a breath. Bro, her spiritual pressure is too strong. We can't compete against Rena. Rena had shown me just how much I'd hurt Mion.
レナが怖いのです。
Apologize, Keiichi, you jackass! After a few moments, Rika-chan cut into the frozen air.
ごめんねリカちゃん。みーちゃんもごめん。圭一くんには謝らなくてもいいよね。
Yeah, true. Fuck you, Keiichi. You deserved it.
ああ。ごめん。
Comparing his family to literally Yakuza, I mean, I think Mion's family have ties to the Yakuza. I don't think they're like straight up like, you know, super duper like giga. I mean, I guess they are kind of, but like either way, right? It doesn't change the fact that Keiichi's dad is literally like a fucking giga wealthy hentai artist. Okay.
めちゃくちゃなこと言って悪かった。
さっきのあれ、私に言ってたの？みーちゃん睨みながら言ってたから、私てっきりみーちゃんに言ってるもんだとばかり思ってた。
God, bro, Keiichi, you're such a fucking jackass. Like, bro, like he's apologizing to Rena. Like, Rena had such strength that you wouldn't have imagined it normally. All I did was spout terrible things as a wave of violent fury passed over me. I couldn't contend with her.
ごめん。
Do it on your knees!
頭に血が上ってた。
Apologize on your knees! Come to think of it, I didn't understand what had gotten me that riled up. I thought of myself as Satoko's Nini. So I only had good intentions that I'd think about it a little harder than everyone else, and yet...
うん。いいよ。私こそ、ケイちゃんが一生懸命悩んでるのに、あれはダメ、これはダメばっかり言って。ごめんね。私も、悪かった。
Mion rubbed away the tears at the corners of her eyes with her fist and apologized as well. We bowed our heads to each other and looked down without glancing at the other. Someone, I don't know who, heaved a sigh. Satoko being tormented had been known about since last year. How had the tragedy back then saved Satoko? How had they brought it to an end? Right. In the end, nobody could do anything. All they could do was bear it patiently and wait for those agonizing days to end. That's right. The one who brought an end to those terrible days was some crazy drug addict nobody knew. On the night of Watanagashi last year, their mean aunt had been beaten to death. But it hadn't been done to save Satoko or Satoshi, right? It really was just a coincidence. Satoko's friends who needed to do something for her most of all could do nothing. The incident may have been a tragic one, but from Satoko's viewpoint, it was nothing less than a miracle. Yes, a miracle. A miracle one could only wait for.
待つしかないのかよ。俺たちには。
Not for evidence of abuse, not for something that minor.
何をかな。
奇跡。
No one made fun of me for using such a crazy word. We couldn't come up with any solutions, so it was the only thing we could do.
無力なんだよ。私たちは。
That one word Mion dropped was the finishing blow. It was hot. I don't think Mion is like, you know, down to kill anybody because her demon hasn't been released, right? We haven't done anything to actually incite the demon. Like, she didn't kill anybody until, like, the demon was out. So, like, you know? Like maybe here, if maybe Keiichi didn't apologize. I mean, what did you just do? Yeah, but the thing was, chat, remember, chapter 2, we never apologized to Mion. Remember what Mion said? That had he actually apologized, then none of that would have happened. But here we did apologize, so like, it didn't go all the way through, so. The worst month, June. Wait, what? It's June right now. We're in the Watanagashi month. Okay. I walked forward quite a ways, then turned right where the rice fields ended. I'd never come here before, so I had no idea where to go. I got lost several times, so I may have taken quite a long way around. Maybe I should have gone back home and gotten my bike first. It would have made everyone else worry if I had asked them, so I asked one of the other classmates where Satoko's actual house was. That house was originally her family's, apparently not their uncle's and his wife's. Their house had been bigger, so they had taken it for themselves. Right here. Several houses all in the line. Over there. I was visiting Satoko's house, but didn't particularly intend to meet her there. I didn't mean to spy on the enemy, her mean uncle either. Maybe I just wanted to be a little closer to her, as her Nini. Pretty words, but I didn't know if they were true. If Tomita-kun and the others told me it was right, it'd be this house. When I recognized it, my feet grew heavy. What did I come here for? My motive for coming here was absurd. When Mion had said at the end that we were powerless, it made me sort of frustrated. I just wanted to do something, anything other than waste the days away praying for a miracle. That's what made me come here. But that was all. Even if I were to witness her uncle actually tormenting Satoko, what could I do? Would I act like a comic book hero, punch the guy in the face, and take Satoko away with me, and then live together somewhere far away? That was ridiculous.
無力だ。
The cicadas' voices, raised in chorus, sounded like they were scoffing at me. As though they were saying that if I couldn't do anything and wouldn't do anything, then I should just go back home. I heard a car approaching, so I got out of its way. But the car stopped right behind me, its horn honking and shortly once. Annoyed, hadn't I? Oh, it's Oishi.
監督。
Oh no, it's...
こんにちは、前原さん。こんなところでお会いするとは本当に奇遇です。
Chat, what if there is no uncle? What if it's Irie this whole time putting rumors that the uncle came back and he's actually the one actually obsessed with Satoko and trapped... No, okay.
お家は近くなんですか?
Me being here wasn't normal. Just as I considered somehow giving him the slip, I noticed Satoko sitting in the passenger seat. Oh! Huh?
Satoko?
Oh, I mean, wait a second, chat. Was I right?
買い物の帰りに偶然監督にお会いしたんですのよ。
Oh. But then why is your face dead right now, Satoko?
送ってくださるというのでお言葉に甘えたのですわ。
自転車でこんなに買い物をしたら運びきれませんからね。
As Coach spoke, he pulled Satoko's bike from out of the back seat where they put it. The grocery bags were big and there were 4 of them. They all seemed to be packed full and very
この
heavy.
袋セブンスマート？おいおい、自転車で行くにはちょっと遠すぎないか？
I looked at the bags and saw that they were filled to the brim with sake bottles, snacks that you'd eat with sake, and boxes of cigarettes. Their weight was one thing, but their contents were nothing less than luxury items.
監督のおかげで助かりましたわ。ちょっと坂道は辛かったですから。
Satoko gave Coach a smile filled with gratitude, but it was incredibly awkward and even heart-rending.
サトコ、 この買い物今晩の晩飯ってわけじゃないだろ。
当然ですわ。私お酒なんか飲めませんし、おつまみも嫌いですし、タバコなんか吸うわけ。
He made Satoko go to a distant store by herself on her bike so she could buy dumb shit like this. And what was the uncle doing right now anyways? He must have been working up a good sweat at this very moment if he needed to send Satoko out by herself. If not, then how much? How much had Satoko suffered for no reason? I hadn't intended to voice my feelings, but they may have made it into my face. Coach might have noticed because he clapped me on the shoulder. Just then, one of the house windows clattered open and the face of a vulgar man, the very sight of which made me immediately avert my eyes, emerged from within. There were no self-introductions necessary. My gut told me that this was the uncle in question. The first thing out of his mouth should have been words of gratitude for Satoko.
Satoko! 缶のガスかけっぱなしで出よったんな、この。
ごめんなさい。でもすぐに買いに行けって言ったから。
やかましいわ。せっかくの銀条台無しにしよってん。
Kill him. Now. Whip out your revolver.
どうしよってんじゃ。
Headshot.
ごめんなさい、ごめんなさい、ごめんなさい。
Satoko miserably apologized over and over, bowing again and again. She could be perfectly described as a small animal. I had no idea what was happening. Satoko finished shopping for all this heavy stuff that wasn't even for dinner. She only managed to come back because she ran into Coach and he drove her home. If she hadn't been found by him, she'd surely still be by herself, panting and moaning, pedaling her bicycle up that steep hill. What was with those words, those horrible sleazy words that he said to Satoko? In what country's dictionary did it tell him to say such things to a young girl who just finished shopping? My anger, of course, wouldn't reach him. The uncle displayed no interest in me, instead shouting at Coach.
入江の先生じゃないですか。こんにちは。そしたら先生も上がっていきますか。もうオーラスですからすぐ入れますよ。ピンのワンツー、何でもありで。
So they're having some type of party in there.
遠慮します。さとこちゃんとは偶然お会いしたんで、ちょっとお送りしてあげただけです。すぐに失礼します。
そんな、ちょっとぐらいやっててくださいな。先生お金持ちじゃないですか。
Switch art? What do you mean? We've already seen Irie or Erie in the normal art. I didn't even understand what her uncle and Coach were talking about. But I knew one thing for sure. None of what he just said had been to thank Satoko in any way.
Satoko, とっととカーキも持ってこんかい。ビールも冷めてもうた。冷蔵庫から冷えてるの出してくれな。
てっちゃん、娘に厳しすぎや。もうちょい言いたわらんとかわいそうやで。
あんな娘にはこのくらいでちょうどいいよ。兄貴ん家にいた頃からそうでよ。甘やかすと親の言うことをなんも聞かんやっちゃよ。
それよか、てっちゃんの妻だぜよ。
椿さんリーチしよったで。
おお、悪い悪い。なんね。椿、あんたまたリーチかいな。
It looked like it wasn't just her uncle, some of his friends were over. Hey, wait. What was he? No, what were they doing? Flinging rude words left and right, making Satoko go shopping for your beer? What were they doing?
町からおじさまのお友達が来てて、麻雀やってますの。お友達のお夕食もご用意するように言われてますのよ。
Nah, honestly, light the house on fire. Kill them all. Bar the doors. They can't get out.
なんだよ、それ。
Mahjong? He called his friends over for Mahjong? They were too busy playing, so they sent Satoko to buy them a crapload of booze from a faraway store. The first thing he said to her was how she felt left the gas on? What the hell? What the hell? What the hell?
何やってんだよ、あいつ。麻雀って、そんなのに遊びほうけて、さとこにこんなのを買いに行かせるのかよ。
Even though Coach was listening, he pretended he wasn't. There was a line of heavy-looking shopping bags lined up on the ground next to the trunk.
さあ、前原さんも手伝ってあげてください。ほら、男の子なんですから こっちの重い袋を持ちましょう。
監督、
Oh boy.
こんなのまかり通っていいんですか？こんなの絶対に。
Coach pretended he hadn't heard that violent outburst either. When I thought about it later, his reaction might have been the best thing he could do in that situation.
私も2つ持ちますから。ほら、前原さんも持つのを手伝ってあげてください。
Bags were packed to the brim with bottles of sake and bar snacks. They were so heavy, and so filthy, so unfair. They weren't just heavy in terms of weight, they made me feel mortified. Nothing could have been heavier than that.
ケイチさん、無理しないでいいんですのよ。私も持ちますわ。
Satoko mistook my biting back to humiliation as grimacing under the weight and offered to
バ
help.
カ、俺をなめるな。
Satoko had never looked down on my physical strength in the slightest. Guh. Grah.
監督もすみませんわね。重いでしょ。
No, not at all, answered Coach, smiling vaguely. Coolly, but I alone knew. Coach was an adult, so he just knew how to keep his feelings from showing. There was even more anger than I was feeling burning deep in his eyes.
いや、重いですね。
Guh. Shit. It wasn't very far to the doorstep of Satoko's house, but the bag squeezed my palms and started leaving red marks. This fucking soy boy. Listen. Keiichi, lock the fuck in, bro. Alright? Fury welled up in me and the back of my throat stung, but even if it all came gushing out, it wouldn't solve anything. So, just tightly gritting my teeth was as much as I could do.
本当にありがとうございますですわ。監督もケイチさんもおかげで本当に助かりましたでございます。
After we carried them to the back door, Satoko said that was enough. Occasionally, we'd hear the repulsive laughing of her uncle and his friends from within, and my insides would seethe. I knew they weren't ridiculing us, and that was why it made me so mad. They'd made Satoko shop for all this heavy, selfish stuff, then ignored her and laughed amongst themselves as they pleased. It was deeply aggravating. Of course, Coach had to have felt the same way. But if he accidentally let his feelings slip onto his face, he's only caused Satoko more worry. He knew all that and spoke coolly as if to say he didn't care.
いいえ。ささやかでもお力になれたなら幸いです。お手伝いできそうなことがあったらいつでも言ってくださいね。
Yep, help us kill him. Kill the uncle.
ええ、お気持ちだけでも本当に嬉しいですわ。
That he feels that way? Those words were sad. Satoko herself was sad and resigned that we could only help her so much. But she was right. No matter how much Coach or I want to help Satoko, this was as much as we could do. I felt absolutely ashamed at not having the power to help her any more than this. Burning, boiling emotions were bubbling up within me and rising into my throat. Trembling all over, I almost started to cry from my fury.
俺も力になれることがあったらいつでも力を貸すから。頑張れよな。
I wanted to at least give her those trite words saying that I'd help her whenever she wanted.
ええ、ありがとうございますわ。わざわざこうしてここまで来てくださっただけでも嬉しかったですわ。
Satoko seemed to have guessed what I was doing in a place like this when my house was in the opposite direction from school.
さあ、もう行った方がよろしいですわ。今は酔っ払ってますから、どんな難癖をつけられるかわかりませんわよ。
She felt guilty getting us involved after we'd helped her. She wanted to be the only one to suffer this misfortune. That's how it looked and it hurt. I handed my supermarket bag over to Satoko, and then I noticed on the back of Satoko's hand, there was something that looked like a bruise.
おい、サトコ、このあざどうしたんだよ。
I knew as much as anyone else how transparent that sounded. I didn't need to hear it from Satoko to know how this bruise came to be.
転んだ時にちょっと打っただけですのよ。
Don't fucking lie. Don't fucking lie.
気になさらないでくださいませ。
嘘だろ。
Coach nudged me in the back. And then he put his index finger to his mouth to chide me from being so loud.
本当にありがとうございましたですわ。では明日学校でお会いできるといいですわね。
そんな話してないだろ。その手のあざはどうしたって聞いてるんだよ。
The evening glow finally got to a point where I could see the other concealed oval-shaped bruises and traces of swelling on her neck and her legs and other places too. Nah,
階
listen.
段から落ちたんですの。
Okay, nope, Nah, we gotta kill them like this instant. Nah, listen, okay? We have all these sake bottles. We fucking get some cloth, turn them into Molotovs, and start chucking them into the fucking windows. Yup. Just kill them now. Bro, she couldn't even do her normal fucking laugh. She just turned into Santa Claus. The very moment my violent, rampaging emotions were about to burst their way out of my throat, I found my mouth being tightly clamped down on. Coach was pressing down on my mouth from behind, wrapping around me tightly with his hands. Because of that, I couldn't say anything. I could only groan, which I did. That was all I could do. I needed to expel all my magma sitting deep within me, because otherwise I'd surely explode into a million pieces that very moment. So I groaned, from my mouth, from my whole body, while heat fell in drops from my eyes. I groaned, I groaned to the point of exhaustion. Impeccable voice acting. I wrung absolutely everything out of myself. Even having lost my voice, I was still wringing it all
気持
out.
ちはわかります。わかりますから前原さん。今だけこらえてください。お願いですから。前原さん。
Endure it for now, and then what, huh? What would happen to her, to Satoko? Her body and mind were wounded, and she was being made to suffer like this. Can you not even let me howl in vain at it? Is that it, coach? Are we this powerless, so powerless that we can't even fucking scream from the bottom of our hearts? The voices of the Higurashi made me calm down. I didn't know how long it had been. Satoko abruptly gave a slight bow.
ありがとうございますですわ、ケイチさん。
サトコ。
今、ケイチさんが本当のニーニーみたいに見えました。私の本当のニーニーはいなくなってしまったけど、私にはケイチさんというニーニーがいてくれる。
そうだ。俺がお前のニーニーだ。お前が辛い時絶対に助けてやるから。ニーニーがサトコをきっと助けてやるからな。
Bro, how the fuck are they gonna save her? Satoshi Hojo, you fucking idiot. If not now, then when? Satoko, she's never been in more pain in her life. If her Nini doesn't save her now, then when will he? Why did you run away? Why did you abandon her? Why did you leave Satoko behind? You don't have any right to call yourself Satoko's Nini.
俺は逃げないからな。
え？
絶対に逃げない。サトシみたいにお前を見捨てて逃げたりしない。絶対に俺はお前を見捨てない。
Oh, new face! Slip. Tears trickled down from Satoko's eyes. And then she narrowed her eyes into a smile.
ニーニー、
Oh my god, why do I feel like she's gonna die and then we're never gonna hear from her again? Satoko took her right hand and awkwardly waved to me.
大丈夫ですわ。今のニーニーので、私いっぱい力をもらいましたから。大丈夫。
Oh, hell nah, bro. This is a hell of a fucking red flag. This is a death flag right there.
明日まで頑張れますから。 大丈夫。だから、今日はさよならでございますわよ。
There was no way that I could say bye, see you tomorrow. And then from inside the house came a throaty, disgusting voice.
はよ、乾きも持ってこんかい。
Get it yourself, you fat fuck!
さあ、ニーニー、早く行ってくださいませ。もう、私は大丈夫ですから。早く。
行きましょう。前原さん、これ以上はかえって聡子ちゃんに迷惑をかけます。
監督、ニーニーのお家はちょっと遠いんですの。申し訳ございませんが、送ってあげていただけます？
ええ。
I'm getting pissed, bro. This chapter's pissing me off.
わかりました。
We need this motherfucker dead. Coach grabbed me by my collar and with strength I couldn't have imagined him having, started dragging me away. Yo, he's got super strength. And I, unable to oppose him, started getting farther away from Satoko. She waved her hand to us, expression still dark, and disappeared through the back door. Coach got into the car first, then turned around on the narrow path and brought the passenger side door around for me.
前原さんの気持ちは痛いくらいにわかります。いえ、前原さん以上にわかるつもりです。でも、今この場だけはこらえてください。
True, wait for Watanagashi. We're gonna kill the motherfucker, don't worry.
あなたの心は確かに伝わりましたから。だから、こらえてください。でないと。
もう、わかってます。すみません。さっきはありがとうございました。
I meekly got into the passenger seat. The car accelerated quietly and Satoko's house grew farther and farther away in the rear view mirror. We made a wide turn and then I couldn't see our house anymore.
え？あなたのお家、そんな遠くなんですか？学校の反対側じゃないですか。
I didn't bother to reply. I would have been hard pressed to give him an answer as to why I was at Satoko's house. Coach didn't say anything more either. For a while, the two of us were silent, the only sounds from the gravel spraying over the road as we drove. I remembered how Rena said things were different than last year. At the time, she had Satoshi with her. Satoshi protected Satoko, so that less of the sparks fell onto
で
her.
も今は、サトシはいない。
はい、残酷ですが、それが事実です。
Coach seemed to understand what I really meant when I said
悲
that.
しく、あまりに残酷な話ですが、私たちの決意や努力、尽力には限界があります。
Sounded like an excuse, but he was right. Even if Coach and I wanted to be people Satoko could depend on. That was all. It ended at their front door. No matter how much I shouted that I would be her Nini, no matter how much I shouted that I wouldn't abandon her, and no matter how much Satoko called me Nini, I couldn't do any more than that.
サトシは一体どこに行っちまったんですか？
Right, Satoshi was another story. Her actual brother Satoshi, he was in a position to protect her far, far better than we ever could. That was the cold, sad truth of the massive gulf between Satoshi and
今
us.
頃、どこでどうしているんでしょう。
Satoshi left home. I didn't know why. Maybe it was because of Orishiro-sama's curse, or he disappeared or something. In any case, he wasn't beside Satoko now. At the time Satoko needed him to protect her most, he wasn't here.
どうして今ここにいないんですか？一番守ってやらなければならないこの時に。
お社様のたたりがどうとかいろいろ言われてますが、家出したとしか言えません。
Tough potato, they were at
Meow.
49.
Meow.
Hope you've been well.
Happy 49 years, Fobato-chan.
I don't think
Dora
the
love
uncle might
people,
be.
hey.
I feel like there's also another explanation for why Satoshi might have left. Like, what if Satoshi, after the aunt died, believed that maybe he was the one that was cursed, right? Because their parents died as well, and so maybe to protect Satoko, like fucking Itachi did to Sasuke, he was like, I gotta leave. And hopefully, Satoko will remain alive. Because maybe Satoshi was the one that was cursed. So Satoshi believed that maybe if he left, Satoko might be safe. Right? I mean, it could be, that could be a guess.
ある日を境に帰ってこないって仲間が言ってました。妹の聡子に書き置き一つ残さずに家出を。
サトシ君はコツコツとアルバイトをしてたんです。聡子ちゃんが当時とても大きなぬいぐるみを欲しがってましてね。結構いい値段らしくて、そのためにアルバイトをいろいろとしていたらしいんです。妹思いの兄でしたからね。おじ夫婦のもとで不憫な生活を強いられている妹に少しでも立派な誕生日プレゼントを贈ろうとしているんじゃないかってみんなささやき合っていました。
In the end, he didn't use the savings for a birthday present for Satoko.
サトシ君がいなくなり、警察がいろいろと調べたら、サトシ君の貯金が当日すべて本人によって下ろされていることが分かりました。
I mean, I think it's also very believable that the uncle fucking did that. You know, disappeared Satoshi and fucking took all of the money Satoshi saved for himself.
方々をいろいろと調べた結果、その貯金を資金に東京の方に行ったんではないかということになりました。
東京？何しに？
家出としか言いようがないじゃないですか。
自分が逃げ出すための資金をコツコツと貯めて、そこまでは勝手ですよ。でも聡子を置いてくことはないじゃないですか。同じ家出するなら聡子も連れて行くべきだった。
Even now, Coach was still calm. He wasn't trying to pour any oil on the fire of my anger at all. He just waited until my anger naturally subsided. After listening to gravel being crushed under the wheels for a little while, Coach spoke abruptly.
察してください。置いていかれた聡子ちゃんも同じ考えに至ったんです。
I'm a burden on my brother, and that's why he abandoned me. He didn't take her with him. He didn't take her with him when he left. How terrible must Satoko have felt being betrayed by the brother she loved so much.
でも聡子ちゃんはとても強い人でした。もちろん親しい友人たちの支えもあってのことでしたが、ああして笑顔を取り戻すことができました。
I recalled how Satoko had spoken of Satoshi so brightly when I was eating dinner with her and Rika-chan a few days ago. At the time, I didn't think any more of it than how pleasant their sibling love had been. But now that I think about it, I realized it was like she was peering into the distance from atop a pile of tragic perseverance.
サトシ君はきっ
that
と
was just
帰っ
like
て
2
くる。
days ago?
その時ま
Or
で
no,
に
a couple days ago.
お荷物じゃなくなった自分を見てほしいって。
聡子はお荷物なんかじゃないですよ。あいつ俺なんかよりよっぽど生活力はあるし、大抵のことは何だってできる。そりゃレナやリカちゃんなんかと比べれば劣る点はたくさんあるかもしれないけど、そこいらのやつよりよっぽど。
サトシ君がいつ帰ってきてもいいように、そういう風になれるよう努力した結果です。涙ぐましい努力があったんですよ。
While she lived with Rika-chan, while Rika-chan taught her how to handle everything flawlessly, all so that she could welcome back Satoshi at any time, so that she could show him she wasn't ashamed.
で、そのサトシはいつ帰ってくるんですか？
I asked Coach, but he knew he wouldn't be able to answer. In any case, Satoshi ran away. He left Satoko and ran away from Hinamizawa. Someone said that when you leave Hinamizawa and run away, Oyashiro-sama's curse gets you, right? Then that made sense. Satoshi running away and his disappearance, that would obviously mean people thought it was a curse, right? And they could smile, as though it were his own fault, as though he got what he deserved. Hey, Oyashiro-sama, whoever you are, Satoshi didn't vanish because he ran away. You demoned him away with your curse, didn't you? If that's not what happened, then I won't forgive you.
サトシはいつ頃逃げ？
去年の綿流しのお祭りの夜、おばが異常者に殺されて、その数日後の聡子ちゃんの誕生日にです。
聡子の誕生日に？
Bang! I slammed my hand on the dashboard in front of me with all my might. Satoshi, of all the days, he could have chose to run away. Their aunt just died a few days before, didn't she? All your days of suffering were about to end, weren't they? You were just about to start thinking about a new life, weren't you? It's wrong to be happy about someone dying, but for Satoko and her brother, her birthday had come at a critical turning point. Their mean uncle had fled town, and the siblings would be left alone. They should have been able to be happy about that. On Satoko's birthday, Satoko's probably waiting for her brother to return the whole time, waiting for her brother to return when he never did. Waiting with bated breath for her brother to return, her hopes and dreams of a new life to come growing ever larger. But no matter how long she waited, he didn't come back. He didn't even contact her. Satoko trembling in anticipation of a great present. Just when? When would she have to face the cold, terrible truth? Satoshi, you fucking idiot. I could feel my blood rising to my head in my anger at Satoshi. I was frustrated. I was aggravated. I couldn't forgive him. Satoko still respected and adored her brother, and yet he so heartlessly betrayed her. Such a person wouldn't just come back. Now when he was most needed, yes, no one would protect her, not even her real brother Satoshi.
だから、あなたがニーニーだと認めてもらえて嬉しかったです。
え？
私もさとこちゃんの幸せを祈る一人ですが、社会的立場があり、日中は仕事をしている身です。私がさとこちゃんのために割いてあげられる時間は少ない。でもあなたは違います。学校で生活を共にし、さとこちゃんやさとしくんとも年はほとんど離れていない。あなたは自分ができることに限りがあると思っていますが、それでも私よりはずっとさとこちゃんに手を差し伸べられる場所にいるのです。だから私の分までさとこちゃんの力になってあげてほしい。そう願っています。
そんなことは監督だって。
もちろん年季のある私だからこそできる助けだっていろいろあると思います。
What's up, Nils?
同じようにあなたにしかできない助けだってあるということです。私たちは互いにそれを全うすべきだと申し上げたいのです。
Is that a little too complicated? Coach added that, but I shook my head in response. When I heard him say he had job skills, it reminded me that he was an adult in a different position from all of us. Maybe I should ask him about it.
監督は法律とか詳しいですか？
いえ、平均的に疎いですが、何か。
I thought back to when I argued with Mion and the others about Satoko. Our children's argument had only left us with the conclusion that we had to wait and see, but what would an adult
児童
think?
福祉法でしたっけ？児童の安全を確保するために緊急措置として親子を分離させるという方法があるそうです。
緊急措置？じゃあすぐに聡子をおじの元から救い出せるということじゃないですか？
聡子ちゃんがそれを望まないかもしれません。虐待されている本人が避難を望まなければ弱いでしょうから。
聡子が望まない？どうして？
Coach didn't answer me. I didn't know why he didn't. It was clear as day that Satoko's uncle was being violent and treating her like a slave. So then why? I clamped down on my frenzied emotions and waited intently for Coach to answer, but he never did. It wasn't like he was pretending he hadn't heard me. If I had to say, it was more like he wanted to explain but couldn't put it into the right
聡子ちゃんは
words.
多分そういういじめに耐えるのを試練だと考えているかもしれません。
試練？変な宗教じゃあるまいし。
ご存知と思いますが、サトシ君は聡子ちゃんをずっとかばってきました。聡子ちゃんもずっとサトシ君に頼ってきました。甘えてきたと言うべきかもしれません。
I'd known for a while that Satoshi had always protected Satoko from their aunt and uncle, but that was his duty as an older brother, not something to worry
それが
about.
トラウマになったかもしれないんですよ。自分が兄にもたれかかりすぎたから兄が自分を嫌ってしまったんではないかってね。
And for Satoko, the current situation was a retelling of the story of a little over a year ago. But this time, Satoshi wasn't here.
だから誰にも頼らずに自分の力だけで試練を乗り越えたい。そういう力を身につけなければサトシ君は帰ってこない。そういう考えになっていると私は考えます。
Now that he mentioned it, Satoko had never said a word about how hard it had been before. I figured she was being threatened not to talk about it,
みんな
but
と相談して児童相談所とかに通報すべきかなんて話をしてました。
聞いてますよね。昨年も福祉士さんがさとこちゃんのところに行ってるのは。
はい。結局様子見で余計にいじめられたって話も。
あれ、さとこちゃんが自分で通報したらしいんです。で、その結果、余計いじめが水面下へ移行してエスカレートした。さとこちゃんに降りかかるいじめも増え、それをかばうさとしくんの負担も著しく増えた。
ひょっとしてさとこ、それ通報した自分の責任だなんて思ってるんじゃ。
Coach nodded quietly.
さとこちゃんに通報の話をするととても嫌がるか、その必要はないと強がりを言うと思います。さとこちゃんに内緒で通報したとしても、福祉士に対して自分は虐待を受けていないと言い張るでしょうね。
Satoko always acts tough and doesn't readily admit defeat, so I could imagine that
一
easily.
応児童相談所には裁判所の許可も当事者の許可も一切不要で緊急措置ができる強い権限があるんだそうです。虐待が公然の事実なら、さとこちゃんが否定しても身柄は強制的に保護されるでしょう。それはさとこちゃんにとっては負けを意味するものなのかもしれませんが。
勝ち負けの問題じゃないですよ。さとこは現実に。
話を折りますが、身柄が保護されると養護院等の施設に送致されます。そうするとですね、そこで暮らすことになるので、つまり引っ越しということになります。ですから学区変更で転校にもなります。
転校は仕方ないです。それであいつが保護されるなら。
さとこちゃんはその辺の事情も知っています。だからますます保護を望みません。
どうして？
あの家でさとしくんの帰りを待つのがさとこちゃんの生きる理由だからですよ。
But what if Satoshi's fucking dead, bro?
兄に捨てられ廃人同然になりかけた少女が何に生きる理由を見出したか。あなたのでなくさとこちゃんの価値観で考えてあげてください。
Felt like he was trying to confuse me with that hard to understand roundabout way of talking so unique to adults. The point was that I couldn't do anything about Satoko wanting to stay in that house, and that I should watch until she gives in. In the end, no matter what I said, Coach himself was saying to wait and see.
俺はわかりませんよ。
はい。
俺は本当にさとこが危ないと感じたら誰の意思も聞かずに通報します。その結果、さとこは不快な思いをして俺を恨むことがあるかもしれないけど、最終的にはそれがさとこの幸せにつながると信じます。
Coach turned to me and gazed fixedly into my eyes. It was written all over his face. He was shocked at what such a young kid had said.
どうしてあなたはそこまで。
Coach, no, rather normal adults might not have understood. So I taught him the creed and values that I believed in. His ninja way.
さとこは俺の仲間だから。そして俺はさとこのニーニーだから。では理由は足りませんか？
I stared at him with a will strong and unbreakable as steel as his eyes betrayed a tiny bit of unrest.
いえ、足りないなんてことはありません。
We were silent for a little while until finally Coach said only that.
誓ったじゃないですか、俺たち。
True, they did make a promise to do what's best for never make Satoko cry.
さとこを
絶対に泣かせないって。
We made a vow on that day of the barbecue party. I didn't think about it hard at all, but Coach and I still made a promise that we wouldn't ever let Satoko cry. Coach gave a dry grin of regret, immediately apologizing for not remembering. One way or another, when he grinned like that, it made me think that his enthusiasm for saving Satoko was a tiny bit smaller than mine. He lightly hit the brakes, making a skidding noise, and my whole body suddenly fell forward.
ひょっとして、ああ、前原屋敷が前原さんのお家だったんですね。
Before I knew it, we were almost to my house. Oh boy! That was a whopper of a goddamn chapter. Whew. One more? Nah, listen, chat. I'm gonna go eat dinner. One more? Chat, if I do one more, it's already 11 motherfuckers! Alright? No. I'm hungry. You just gonna let Satoko get abused like that? Bro, if we do one more, it's gonna be another 2 hours. You know what's gonna happen, chat. I'm gonna be here. It's gonna be 1 a.m., 1:30 a.m. in the fucking morning, and we're gonna still be doing the chapter. No. Tomorrow we pick up, okay? Starve? Nah. All right. Oh man, bro, these chapters are just getting crazy. So you hate Satoko? No, I don't fucking hate Satoko, motherfucker, okay? All right. Oh man. We will save Satoko tomorrow, real and true. Okay? Boom boom. Tomorrow's Tuesday. We'll see. Maybe we'll do a long stream. Try to squeeze in 2 chapters in, because we won't be able to play on Wednesday because we'll have triple sponsor. So, oh my god, bro, triple sponsor. That's got to be a record for us. I don't think we've ever had 3 sponsors in one day. But yeah, so we'll try to do 2 chapters tomorrow, chat. Yeah. Anyways, why do you make promises if you don't ever plan to keep them? What do you mean? You know, I tried to, but you know, it's an attempt. Mr. Fob, are you saying Satoko's life is worth less than your food? To my stomach, yes. I'll see y'all tomorrow, chat. Thank you, everybody, for hanging out. Yes, sir. Tomorrow, 2 chapters, possibly, maybe. Who knows? We'll see. Anyways, let's see here. What the hell? Well. When the fuck does she stream at this time? I'll send you guys over to Lumi. Good night, everybody. It's like she's just starting stream. Bye-bye!